On this channel, we expose the greatest lie of our generation, the myth, the hoax, the lie of black victimization, and how reporters and public officials all over the country ignore, deny, condone, excuse, encourage, and even lie about it. Ground zero for a lot of this denial, deceit, and delusion is Baltimore, a dark and dirty and chocolate city where public officials like the criminals more than they like the cops who are supposed to be keeping that city safe. Well, when you have a lie as big as the big lie of black victimization, necessarily that needs to be supported by a lot of little lies. And the biggest little lie is when we hear people say, you know, Colin, we got to have a conversation about race. We hear that from all the Democratic mayors. We hear that from all the other people who deny that we have an enormous problem with black mob violence in this country. And because when we hear them say that what that really means is we're going to have a monologue. You're going to listen to what I say. You're going to do what I say. You're going to pretend that black crime is not wildly out of proportion. You're going to pretend that in Baltimore, white people are not constant targets of black violence. That's what you're going to do. And if you speak up against that, if you actually try to have a conversation about that topic, we will fire you. We will hurt you. Or in the case of this lieutenant in Baltimore, we will suspend you from your job for telling the truth.
Facing backlash, scrutiny for the Baltimore Police Union after a controversial email.
The potential impact on reform for the department.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica Cartalia in for Denise.
And I'm Marcus Washington in for Vic Carter. And here's what people are talking about tonight.
A high-ranking official in the Baltimore Police Union is under heavy fire tonight for his remarks about protesters. Lieutenant Victor Gerhardt was suspended after sending an email to the entire department calling Black Lives Matter activists thugs. It's just the latest incident involving the police union. That's where WJZ is live tonight. Rick Ritter was one of the first reporters to get his hands on that email. Rick.
Well, Jess, the entire force got this email, leaving the commissioner outraged. And really, it couldn't come at a more crucial time for the department as they're trying to fix their relationships with the community. You're looking at Lieutenant Victor Gerhardt, the vice president for Baltimore's police union, who's now found himself in hot water. Gerhardt was suspended Monday for his comments towards protesters, sending out this email to union members, which was first obtained by WJZ, saying, quote, expect more bad behavior from the thugs of Baltimore. On the bright side, maybe they will stop killing each other while they're protesting us.
One thing about this email is not representative of this agency.
The email adds to growing criticism for the FOP. Just months ago, these tweets targeting Marilyn Mosby surfaced from the police union account after one of the officers charged in the death of Freddie Gray was acquitted. And in January, it was Lieutenant Gerhardt who was at the center of controversial tweets with a protester. All of this as communities and police are desperately trying to repair a broken relationship.
If you're going to inflame these hostilities that may exist, then that puts the officers, their well-being in jeopardy.
Over the past few days, WJZ has repeatedly asked for an on-camera interview with the police union to address these incidents, but no one has responded to our requests. Baltimore City Defense Attorney Warren Brown. Do you think the Baltimore Police Union is getting in the way of true police reform?
The name-calling again serves only to drive a further wedge between the community and the police. And sometimes you can become so zealously tied up with the people that you are representing that you lose sight of the big picture.
Brown says the ball is now in the court of the police union, with citizens watching closely to see if it condemns this kind of behavior.
This is a golden opportunity for the FOP to build some credibility in the community, to lessen the hostilities.
And now we add one more cop, one more public servant, one more person to that growing list of people who were fired or suspended or had their lives changed by black people because they spoke the truth about black violence. The denial, the deceit, the delusion is mountainous. Let's do an update on Milwaukee. Just yesterday, we posted a video where a relative, I think it was a sister, of the black criminal in Milwaukee who had a stolen gun. He was running from the cops, turned around, pointed the stolen gun at the cops. They shot him dead. 2 nights of rioting, 2 nights of anti-white hostility and violence followed. Well, over the weekend, might have been on Monday, the sister comes out and has a little press conference where she says, hey, don't burn stuff down here. Don't loot here. Don't riot here. Go out to the suburbs. Riot out here. You guys remember that?
Tell his mama y'all fighting for her love. Burning down shit ain't gonna help nothing. Y'all burning down shit we need in our community. Take that shit to the suburbs. Burn that shit down. We need our shit. We need our weed. I don't wear it, but we need it.
Well, in the CNN story, they put up a graphic that said something like sister calls for peace. And they edited her comments to make it sound like she was calling for peace when she was calling for violence. So today CNN comes out and says, oh, we made a mistake. We accidentally shortened her comments. Well, you didn't accidentally do anything because you didn't accidentally put the graphic up either that said she was calling for peace. That is a lie. That is a lie almost as big, even bigger than what we just saw here, but they're both in the same category. Here we got these lawyers. Here we got these reporters. They're talking about the police being the bad guys in this unbelievably dangerous city. When I think of Baltimore, I don't just think of the riots from last year where the mayor said we needed to give all the black rioters space to destroy. I think of the 120 cops who went to the hospital with injuries during the riot. I think of all the video and the audio that we have on video on a playlist here from Baltimore, where the cops are surrounded, they're being attacked, their lives are at risk. They're begging for help. They're begging for supplies. They're begging for equipment. They're begging for more cops. It never arrived. And now these clowns on this video want to convince us the cops trying to do their duty and arrest lawbreakers, people who have ruined Baltimore. These public officials and these reporters are trying to convince us it's really somehow the cops' fault. When in actuality, Baltimore is just a chocolate city where the people on the city council and in the mayor's office, they think the criminals are the real victims. They think the criminals are victims of white racism. And they think the main job of the cops on the streets of Baltimore is not protecting the law-abiding from the criminal, but their main job is really just not making the black kids angry.